I'm going to show you how to create the semantic representation for Proverbs 11:10, just the first half of the verse. So it reads in the NIV, "When the righteous prosper, the city rejoices." In the New Century Version, "When good people succeed, the city is happy." And in the New American Standard Bible, "When things go well for the righteous, the city rejoices." So all three of these are pretty similar. There are some minor differences. Note that the NIV says the righteous, meaning righteous people. We can't express it that way. We have to say something like NCV here, righteous people, where we specify people. Another difference involves the exact word that's used. NIV uses prosper, NCV uses succeed, and NASB uses things go well, which I think is pretty similar to succeed. So I want to see if we really need to have the word prosper. We don't currently have that in our system, but we could add that as a complex word. So I'm going to look at some other resources here. I'm looking first at the SIL translation notes in Paratext, and it says that this word prosper means to do well or succeed. The UBS handbook says that it means to succeed or be successful. So I'm going to go with the word succeed and not add a complex word prosper. So now in the next stage, we write the sentence in an English-based form that we call our Phase 1 representation. It's like English, but it's a little bit different. You notice that we have these brackets here around a subordinate clause. Here we have a special notation that indicates that if a complex word righteous is available, we will use that instead of good. And if a complex word joyful is available, we'll use that instead of happy. But we can fall back to these simple words if those complex words aren't available. We have another notation, metonymy here, which indicates that the meaning of the city rejoices is that the people of the city rejoice. So we can have an option to express it as either form. If the word righteous is available, it'll be used. If the word joyful is available, it'll be used. We also have a rule that can convert be joyful to rejoice. And finally, the city can be expressed that way or as the people of the city. So depending on the choices that the translator makes, this could come out: when righteous people succeed, the city rejoices. Or if we don't allow metonymy and we don't use complex words, when good people succeed, the people of the city are happy. So now I'm going to show you how this works in our program. So I've copied this sentence into the analyzer, which does the analysis. And so the first step is I go down to the bottom right, I click on Analyze, and the computer tries to interpret this sentence. So first of all, sometimes the computer can't distinguish between different meanings of a word. So here there's a question word, which you'd say if you say, when would something happen? But we don't want that. We just want the time indicator for the subordinate clause. So I'm going to delete that word, confirm deletion. Then the analyzer does its best to analyze this verse. Now, it did a fairly good job here. It found out that there's a subordinate clause marked by these double brackets here, and it knows that person is the subject of the subordinate clause, city is the subject of the main clause. But there are some things that we need to correct that were not handled right. So the first thing is we have two senses of the word good, and by default it's going to choose the generic sense, but I want the sense that means to be morally good. So I'm going to select that sense here. Okay, then I indicated that we wanted to pair the righteous complex word with good, but that's not done automatically. So I click down here on complex pairings on the bottom right. Then I click on the word good. Then I search for the word righteous and select that. So now you can see it says good/righteous. And I'm going to do the same thing for happy. So here I'm going to choose joyful. So now I've got those two words paired. Okay, we want people to explain the metonymy of this city. It's not really the city that's rejoicing, but the people in the city. So we have to mark this phrase with people, the noun phrase, as explaining metonymy. So I click on features at the bottom right, click on this noun phrase, and then I click explain metonymy. And then there's one more thing that we need to fix. So this verse has two instances of the word people. We have the righteous people and we have the people of the city. But those are two different groups of people, and the program doesn't know that. So we have to tell the program that so it won't express the second instance as a pronoun. So down at the bottom right, we have a list of the objects and there's only one instance of people. So I click on the third row and then I click on the second instance of people. So now we have two types of people, number 1 people and number 3 people, and I'm going to save the analysis here. Okay, now I've switched to our English grammar, which is a little bit different than the grammar that we use for analysis, and I'm going to generate this verse. So I click on generate, and so the program is implementing all the rules, and the end result is when righteous people succeed, the city rejoices. Now suppose we don't want those complex words and we want to expand the meaning of the metonymy. So first of all, I'm going to click on the audiences button, and then I'm going to go to translation options, and under metonymy I'm going to say don't preserve metonymy. Click on OK. And then I'm going to go to the complex concepts button down here at the bottom right, and I'm going to pick adjectives. Okay, and now we find joyful, and I'm going to unselect that, and righteous, and unselect that. Now we also have another rule that converts be joyful to rejoice. Now I don't really need to change that, because if I get rid of the word joyful, it's not going to be implemented. But just to show you, we have this rule, be joyful is converted to rejoice, and I could turn that off. Okay, anyway, now I'm going to regenerate this verse and we'll see what it does. So this is without the complex terms and explaining the metonymy, and it says when good people succeed, the city's people are happy. So that gives you kind of a feel for the kind of options that we can use in TPTA.